Hello, welcome to the Cheesewheel. My name's Tyler, and welcome to Cheesewheel, where we discuss about cheesy movies. Are they bad? Are they good? Are they rotten? Are they cheesy? With me today is Cory.
Hey, what's up?
Chris.
What's up?
Andrew.
Howdy, y'all.
And today we're going to talk about SkyHigh, a movie that is actually competently made and is still pretty cheesy. Now, a few things about SkyHigh. Came out in 2005. It's got Kurt Russell in it, who I like. And the only memorable characters are the side characters, is what I'd say. So, another thing, you can tell this came out before the big superhero boom, because one of the quotes they put on the back of the box is "Superheroes, Supercast." Which, like, in 2005, it would be like, wow, way to go. John did it this time. But, like, if you put that as a review for Avengers Infinity War, you'd be fired. You would never work again. Ever.
Yes.
I feel it would, just looking at the people you have to bring that to even see if it's going to sell, they would just be like that meme where the guy mentions something and he's getting tossed out the window.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
All right, we got you advance tickets to Infinity War. What'd you write for us? Why are you here?
I was just dragged in from the back room.
But
I normally work as a janitor. I don't even know what I'm doing here.
The janitor has like tragic backstory, so he puts it into the movie. There you go.
Little do we know, the story was about the janitor as a boy.
Yes.
Little did we know, the janitor was Stanley.
Stanley doesn't make a cameo in this, but he makes a cameo in every other.
He's made a cameo since he started making shows and movies. I mean, you can go back.
Do you think
to
he
the original.
understands that he's making a cameo, or do you think it's just like they're just like, here you go, Mr. Lee, and he's like, where am I? Is it nap time? It's like, no, Mr. Lee.
So I've met Stanley once, and this was at the
You are
2018
so
or
lucky.
2017 Comic-Con. Sorry,
You lucky
I gotta
guy.
watch him actually perform live, and I ended up running into him at a restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, it was funny. He was on stage and he was talking, and one of the questions they asked him was about Disney taking over Marvel.
No.
And he's like, "Who's Disney?" Just like, all right. Oh, they don't run us. We run them. So
Yeah, I say that's true.
So,
yeah, but no.
but we're not here to talk about Marvel.
No, we are.
No,
not.
that's another time.
That is definitely a story you should tell at a different time, but we should probably get into the film called SkyHigh. So it starts with this kind of comic booky intro, which I think is a great way to start this because it immediately tells you what kind of movie this is.
Yeah.
Like, even though this movie is kind of cheesy, you know that it's going to be cheesy from the first few seconds. Like, you know the stakes are probably not going to be very high for most of this film.
Yeah, I have to admit, like what you said for the comic book like transitions and stuff like that. I feel like that brings back like a nostalgia kind of moment, you know.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like it to me.
I remember as a kid when I watched this, and I remember watching, the Fantastic Four, because I remember just seeing how both of them, it felt like they were taking it off of that, but it works well for how they did it, starting off with the scene, pretty much introducing each character, compared to where Marvel's kind of like their trailer intro, which is just like flipping a whole bunch of pages and then playing the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But, so then we're introduced to our main character, Will Stronghold, who has two superhero parents, but himself has no powers. So he pretends to have powers in order to appease his father and his mom because he doesn't want to, like, come out and say he doesn't have powers. Now, what I noticed about this, and this, like, becomes more apparent as the film goes on and then it kind of drops it, is that this is a very, like, early 2000s X-Men kind of story for superheroes. Like, if you ever watched them, ever watched the X2, it is very clear that there's a subplot in it where it's, like, supposed to be a metaphor for coming out of the closet. And that's kind of how the first half of this movie feels for me.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that as well.
Yeah, especially later on when he has all of his friends over and they're all studying and they're all in the sidekick academy. And his dad's like, he's like, you know, it's good for you pushing the boundaries of what society thinks for you or whatever. And that's just, I don't know, it feels weird watching it.
as a kid, I really didn't see it that way. Like, I just thought, oh no, what if I end up like Will at the beginning of the movie? What if I don't make it to my parents' expectations?
Yeah, I was kind of like that as well. I didn't even recognize it until like
Later on in
Yeah.
teen years, and yeah.
Like, to me, that just, I don't know, it feels kind of unauthentic later on when he actually does, like, find out he has powers, but we should probably naturally get to that. So, and then we meet Layla, who is his best friend, his lifelong best friend, who I absolutely hate as a character.
She's really peppy.
She is the Britta of this show. Like, if you've never seen Community, Britta is a character who's always just naturally defiant, and you're not supposed to like her at all.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I've watched Community.
Yeah.
No.
She's just like, I've audibly groaned at some of her lines so many times.
Like where she faked laughed in the cafeteria.
Or,
yeah, that part. Yeah, I'll agree on.
I think
That's what ticked me off the most.
the thing that I did not like about the character, even as a kid, she seemed way too cliche. She was.
she's just defiant because they needed a defiant character. They wanted a
Yeah.
defiant character for the story.
Really did not like was one of the ending fight scenes where she actually uses her abilities.
I
That's
mean,
true.
She
Yeah.
could be a really powerful character. She could have been a really well-developed character if they had just put more effort into her.
yeah, but this is a movie where if you're a main character, you're a boring character. So,
Yeah.
Layla and Will are the most boring characters of this movie, but everybody else is a very interesting character. But so they're going to their first day of Sky High. Will has no powers, and he's probably not going to do so well. Layla's powers are being able to control plants and complain about environments and everything.
Sounds like me. Except without the controlling the plants part.
So, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I know for the person who played as Layla actually plays as Caitlin Snow in The Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the coolest thing is they actually made her,
Yeah.
they made her have like a better character backstory than Layla because I don't know, it just seems like it.
They
to me.
actually tried. They put more development into her character. Like if they had, I'm saying if they had done that for Sky High, she would have been a more interesting character, not that boring. They made the basis really, I don't know how to describe it, but really scraunchy.
Yeah.
Sky High is one of those movies you have to watch for the world. Like, you can't watch the characters because you have to watch the world around them because the world around them is much more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, the bus driver, who we meet in the next scene when they get on the bus, is my favorite. Actually, no, he's my second favorite character. My favorite character is actually introduced in this scene, too. But the second they get on, it's like, is this the bus for Sky High? And he just flips out.
Yeah.
He's like, what, you want every super villain in the neighborhood to know?
I mean, you're not exactly inconspicuous. You're in the sky.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
What-
they do drive down, like, a bus with 30 orange cones.
How do they not get seen by anybody? That's the other question I have. when
Because
take off.
Why-
because this superhero school commissioned a half-built bridge that nobody's going to drive down. This isn't SpongeBob where the mayor's going to come down. It's like, I declare this half-built bridge open. It's a permanently closed down bridge with 50 construction cones, which is a little excessive, but I guess you don't want anybody driving down that way because you're going to launch a rocket bus off of it.
Oh,
Fair enough.
physics.
Yeah, that,
I'm not even going to start with physics.
So I believe in this we are actually introduced to Zach for the first time, who is my favorite character, just because he is just the best. And he's like, Zach, what's your power? And he's like, oh man, you don't want to know. Like, you'll see. You'll see. I'll show it to you.
wait. Zach, the guy who's the glow stick?
Yeah.
I knew it, dude.
Yeah.
He's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So
He is-
So they get to the school, and there's a fun bit where we see a bunch of people use their powers, and there's like one bit where a couple of guys like bug like this one girl, she just freezes them,
Oh, that was great.
and then they stay there for the rest of the movie. But and then we're introduced to the love interest, for until the third act, and it's so amazing to see this cliche where like the romantic music plays and then he isn't like hit with like a soccer ball or something. Like that's what if you ever hear that music nowadays, you're like, oh, he's about to get like physically
Hit or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna be like, so do you agree with that, Will? And he's gonna say yes, and they're gonna act like all offended, like, you agree with segregation? I mean,
Oh.
that's like the kind of things that would happen today. But no, they actually play it off seriously in this, which
is different.
is different. It's different seeing that. Also, the two bullies are introduced. The fat one's really fast, and the skinny one can stretch.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, I remember that.
So, and alright. So then we get to the gym part, which is everybody shows their powers, and Zach goes up there and he's like, I'm glowing.
I'm glowing. Just
Everybody close the windows, cup your eyes.
also dim down the lights, please. Thank you.
And like you got like him, he's like the coach is like dropping cars on people. People are like spitting acid, and this guy's like, acid spit, and he's just like, come at me.
I mean,
The
The most.
I found the coach.
And then oh wait, you want to talk about the coach?
Sorry. But the coach, I found him very interesting on the fact of I just could see him having a job at like Mythbusters or just like he's the guy you walk in that like if you ever work drive-through, he's that customer that will come in and just yell what they want while you're trying to.
Hello,
take your
welcome to
heads off.
McDonald's. May I take your order? Yes. Can I have a McDouble?
Sir, this is Burger King. Sidekick!
What?
Drop car.
You know, I'm gonna say about the coach, he looks like he just got fired off of Mythbusters
Exactly.
and decided
Yeah.
to take a job as a gym teacher.
Well, not just that.
To me, he looks like he's been a gym.
What is his superpower?
He has
Dropping cars.
He has supersonic
Sonic boom.
sound.
Oh, yeah,
For some
true.
reason, because of the car
Coach
thing,
Boom.
I just constantly think of his superpower is just making cars fall out of the sky. Can you imagine that? Because no one would expect it. They just, what are you gonna do? Car, boom.
Oh,
But-
imagine him and his like if he has a wife in like the movie. Imagine him and his wife have to go to like his wife's like stepmother's house or something. Hey, this is my stepmom. Oh no, get the car.
So we see the other two sidekicks in this too, which is Magenta. She turns into a guinea pig, and then Ethan, who melts.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think melting is a pretty cool power.
That actually would
Well,
be really.
Yeah, and he
Think
can still
about it.
move.
Well, think about it. He could learn if he just knew how to control with that, since he could still move.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a stealth power that would just be amazing.
No one would really
Give
be
Batman
looking.
that power.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Goop from Ben 10, except without the
Yeah.
little like
Or-
spinny
Yeah.
disc thing. Yeah.
But
Oh shoot, can't remember the other guy. He's
but this is the part where I first audibly groaned at like Layla's character. Because Coach Boom's like, get up here, show us your power. And she's like, I don't believe in using my powers unless the situation demands it. And I'm just like, oh,
Seriously.
God.
It's like if the car is just.
Hi, we're here to teach you how to be superheroes and actually how to use your powers and be able to use them efficiently. Well, I don't think the situation demands it. I mean, rise against the machine.
Next minute,
Which-
car.
which makes me wonder. Is it just only small cars he can drop, or can he drop semis?
Well, we should move on from Coach Boom.
Sorry, but no, with the character, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I was really kind of wanting to see what power she had.
I was
Also,
really
her
upset.
power is showed later in the movie when she's
Yeah.
like, when life gives you lemons and she makes an apple, she's like, I don't know how to make lemons. I'm like, well, maybe you should have gone for hero then. You know, you could have
Yeah.
gone to a class that actually shows you how to use your
And-
powers.
She could have
And-
been the good Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
not only just that, she has one of the strongest powers in that movie, in my opinion, because nature, being able to grow stuff like that, I mean,
That's
the
universal.
stuff you could do.
So basically, she's like,
And
basically,
world hunger, just
yeah, like
Like-
she's like the definition of poison ivy and swamp thing just mixed together,
Well, since
just
we're,
controlling.
exactly.
Yeah.
And she doesn't use it. Like. Too many frustrations.
Yeah.
I know.
so,
Breathe.
so since we're starting to run out of time, I think what we should do is we should just mention stuff that we like. Mention one thing we all liked, and then go on to what we thought about it.
Yeah.
Or like mention a scene that we want to talk about. One scene that I really want to talk about is the is like that whole party scene towards the like middle of the movie.
That made me cringe.
Where it's like the evil person, we know she's evil because she got down to the lair and then they stole the pacifier gun. And then like what she does is she sees Layla's there. So she's like, oh, Will, can you go get me a diet soda? He goes, does that. And then she tells Layla to leave or whatever. And then Will like catches like Layla's really mad at him. So he's like, he goes over to her and he's like, hey, what'd you do? And he's like, oh, I told her to leave. I'm like, why did you tell Will what you did? The point of telling him to go away and do something else was so you could silently get rid of her. But instead, you're just like, oh, I'm evil. And then or you didn't specifically say you're evil. You're like, oh, insulted your friends.
I think, if I remember correctly, if she's the main bad guy that her parents fought. Yeah, and so, I mean, with that being said, that was one scene that was kind of like somewhat of a plot twist that back when I was younger, that I
that happens after the party.
Yeah, after the party scene, but that was one plot twist I did like. It was kind of an interesting way. I thought she would be the daughter of the person, but no, it was...
The thing is they're sitting with their parents and the girl, and they'll point to the picture, and then they're like, hey, honey, and it's like, oh boy, that was a weird girl. And then it's like, she's sitting right there, and they don't make the connection, but Will makes it later, looking at the exact same photo, which I don't make. Also, after that party ends, that house is clean. That's like cleaner
than... life.
Yeah.
That house has not been destroyed at all, but
let's see. I'm just gonna say this. My favorite part is like the I don't know. It's like that arena thing that they had at the gym.
Oh yeah. Remember when we used to use real civilians?
Oh, that was murder mystery much. Huh? What do? They just like get like civilians from like nearby like neighborhoods and just bring them subjects.
They went for the college students because we're so in debt.
Hey kid, you want to clear your student debts? Let us just lower you into a shredder.
Oh man.
Well, hey, you won't have debts at all because you're dead.
Either way, we'll pay your debts or you'll die. But
I don't know. I'd have to say my favorite one would probably be, I don't know, the China shop.
I know that one.
Yeah, where like Lila starts talking to, I'm forgetting his name.
War and Peace.
Yeah, War and Peace.
God, that is...
And like he gives actually really good advice. And he's like not as bad of a person as you thought he was.
Yeah, but it's also like rewatching that he's a person up till that point where it's like, hey, I'm sensitive now. It's like he tried to kill Will.
Yeah, well, obviously you're defensive at school. My point being.
Yeah.
And then he's like at his home where he works. So it's just like you guys see a different side to the person you saw almost kill the main character. I like those parts. It's just like you see more to the character. I love character development, so.
That's true.
Oh, I think it just comes kind of out of nowhere, but that's just my opinion.
Yes, I do like the entry scene when you actually fly up to the school itself. That was probably... it was just more of seeing how they styled it. I guess the school kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you guys watch Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Look out. So that was kind of what it reminded me of, and I was a massive Dragon Ball Z fan back in the day. Still am.
Same here.
But other than that, my favorite scene was probably the arena. That was probably it. Specifically for the reason you said. Remember when we used to use actual civilians?
Yeah. I also mentioned this a while back. This is the last thing, and then we'll go into our ratings. But that last act where the school's falling out of the sky, that's like when the helicarrier falls out of the sky in the first Avengers. It's also got the... It's so weird how many like things you can recognize from Avengers, because Will gets thrown out of a window at that, and then he just flies up, and I'm like, is that what Iron Man did?
That was Iron Man.
Yeah.
Wait, do you remember Sokovia?
Yes.
Yes, it reminds me of Sokovia.
Oh yeah, when the island fell.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is more of
Wow.
Sokovia. Is Joss Whedon just going back to SkyHigh being like, what can I steal?
What can I say without people knowing?
I can't make 3 Avengers movies out of this. I'm going to leave.
Okay, so I just have one last thing. I always have fun when I watch movies because my brain wants to go into the physics and logic of things. And
Just don't.
bathrooms. What is the plumbing system up there? Is it like an airplane? Does it just fall out?
I'm just going to say nope. Let's not think
I
about it.
think that's the bus driver's job. when he's not transporting
That's
kids.
probably why he's a psychopath.
Let's not get into
All right,
the physics
so-
of things because
Into our ratings. Now, our
Star
rating
Wars.
system is cheese, and if you can measure it in cheese, that's great. I'm gonna say that this is like Parmesan cheese because it tastes pretty good, but it has no substance.
I would have to agree with you on that.
Like, yeah, I agree as well. Like,
Probably gonna have to agree with that.
I
It's
guess.
got Parmesan cheese rating all around.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right, this was the Cheesewheel podcast. This was with Cory, Chris, Andrew, and I'm Tyler. And take a slice and signing off.